Have you ever noticed how it never feels like quite the right time to start to go after a particular dream, goal, or desire, to start taking those first few small steps towards some kind of vision that you've been holding in your heart for such a long time? It always seems better to start tomorrow or next week or next month, and yet that time never comes. Not because the future won't exist, because it will, of course, happen. The future will happen, but the thing about the future is that the future is now. You are creating your future now, and the now moment is the only portal into your desired future. It's the only place where you hold power. And so many of us get trapped in the illusion of the future or the memory of the past, forgetting that all of our power is in the now. And the more that we can bring our present self back into the now moment, the more we can actually transform what we think of as our future in the most miraculous ways. And it can happen so much faster than we imagine possible, because your focused energy, your present, you fully embodied in the moment, is more powerful than you can even begin to imagine. And as you start bringing more of you back into the now and applying yourself in the now moment, you will take quantum shifts and leaps into your desired timeline. So in this video, we are going to be talking about how to quantum shift into your desired reality, how to take that kind of leap in consciousness that results in such rapid exponential growth and change in your physical reality that other people around you will be absolutely astonished, even in awe. You will have people asking you how you did it, how you changed your life so quickly. And much like the whole intro of this video, to be completely honest, I've had this video in mind to create for a while, but I wanted it to be perfect. And the thing is, nothing is ever perfect. It's never going to be perfectly polished. And actually, the magic is in the mess, so to speak. The magic is in your courage to step forward and to release that perfectionism that we all deal with, that is that inner critic in the back of our minds. If you can release that and focus on your mission, your purpose, what you are creating, why you are creating it, who you're creating it for, that purpose will give you courage to take action now. So in this video, I am going to be giving you the formula to quantum leaping in your reality. Now, I want to preface this video by saying a little bit of a cautionary note, which is, if you do this technique, prepare for things to change very quickly. Yes, the changes will be positive, but even positive change can feel a little ungrounding and a little bit disorienting at times, because when you truly apply these principles that I'm going to be laying out in this video to quantum leap in your reality, yes, so many of your desires will start manifesting. You will feel as though you are stepping into your dream life, your dream ideal timeline, but you're also going to notice everything about yourself, your life, things you feel inspired to do, create, people you feel inspired to connect with. It's all going to be elevated so rapidly that it is going to surprise even yourself. And so only do this if you are truly prepared for your life to change in a big way. And I will also say that most people I know who use this technique do not use it 100% of the time. Of course, you can choose to rapidly or constantly be on this rapid upward trajectory, this exponential growth curve, using this technique continuously. You can choose to do that. But for most people, this is a strategy for those quantum leaps. And then they will take time kind of to get a breath, to integrate, to enjoy their successes, to enjoy the new timeline that they've aligned with. Most people, again, will not be like on this constant exponential growth curve using this consistently, although you can choose to do that. But it is okay to use this from time to time and then to simply let yourself kind of rest on that landing. You wouldn't be losing any kind of progress when you take those moments to kind of rest and integrate and just allow yourself to enjoy what you've created and how far you've come. Then you actually prepare yourself in many ways. You kind of gather your thoughts, organize yourself, get integrated, get balanced, and you prepare yourself to define where you want to travel to in the quantum realm next, because nothing is off limits to you. And that is really point number one, to recognize your limitlessness and to remove all mental limitations, barriers, and blockages. Now, depending on your upbringing, depending on your past belief systems, this will be more difficult for some people than others, because some people are much more open-minded and open to the idea of anything being possible. And some people are more closed off in that way. And so much of it has to do with how we are subconsciously programmed from a young age, which, speaking of which, subliminals will be an extremely powerful tool to you through so many different phases of this process of quantum leaping, which I'm going to get into. But essentially, what we are doing is quantum leaping you into your personal highest vibrational timeline, whatever that is for you personally. And if you are dealing with some limitations or feelings of lack or fears that are deeply embedded in your subconscious that were programmed into you from a young age, subliminals will be an invaluable tool in helping you to uproot those past limiting belief systems and replace them with more positive ones that will literally make you magnetic for your desires. I had to utilize subliminals a lot at the beginning of my journey, and I still use them every day because I find so much value in them. But at the beginning, I used them quite simply just to shift me from a state of lack and low self-confidence and victimhood into a state of self-love, self-confidence, and empowerment. Because once you can make that shift within yourself, it makes the rest of this process much smoother. It makes it much easier for you to quantum leap into your desired reality when your subconscious is programmed for feeling happiness, feeling like you are capable of sustaining wealth and success and joy and love and connection. So you can use subliminals that are specifically aligned with your specific goals. And I would recommend including some of those on your playlist, but I would also recommend using some subliminals to help you strengthen your mindset. So for example, if you know that you struggle with self-love or self-confidence, I have subliminals for those specific subjects in my app. I literally have 130 subliminals for so many different areas of life. So there are some that will relate more specifically to your goals and others that will relate more to your mindset. But I would definitely include in your subliminals playlist in the app, the one called Highest-Vibrational Timeline, along with, of course, all of the others, because this one is designed to really facilitate and speed up this process of quantum leaping into your desired reality. So these subliminals are available through my app. The name of the app is Sound and Soulful, and you can find it by searching for it in either app store. It's in both the Google Play and Apple App Store, or I will leave a link to directly download it in the pinned comment and description box underneath this video. So the best way to utilize these subliminals, if you're just getting started, is to listen to them either overnight while you're sleeping or first thing in the morning, or even both if you feel guided to it. I like to listen overnight using the rain sound. Personally, I have some nature sounds that are great for overnight listening, but you can use whatever sound or music option connects for you personally. I would recommend looping your playlist overnight while you're sleeping and making your overnight subliminals playlist one that is very filled with different subliminals relating to all different kinds of goals and energies and mindsets that you want to embody. Whereas when you listen then in the morning or during the day, you might want to keep that daily playlist a little bit more focused. So choose subliminals that are more connected with one or two of your main goals, because most likely for most of you, you won't necessarily be listening to as long of a playlist during the day, although you can listen while you are cleaning or working or doing other tasks if you do feel guided to it. So that is a very powerful tool and place to start, and also a tool to use throughout this whole process. But number one is you have to find a way to truly believe in your worthiness, to believe that you are lovable, to believe that you have the right to be a confident and happy and loved and successful person. And to believe that nothing is off limits for you, that you can truly do anything that you desire. You can manifest any reality that you desire to experience, that you really are the one in control of your life. You are in the driver's seat. You are the conscious creator of your life. Now, by the way, I don't have any notes here. I was, again, that perfectionism thing, planning on doing this video based off of very detailed notes, but I said, you know what? I feel like sometimes the most powerful content and information comes through when I just let things flow. So this is completely off the cuff. I don't have anything really pre-planned for this video. I didn't even know for sure this is what I was going to be talking about until I clicked the record button. So that is really point number two. Well, actually, point number two is lock in your desired frequency. So there are many different ways to do this, but essentially you have to know what you want. And the quantum field responds best to specificity. It's sort of like if you were a time traveler, which in this case, I guess you're a timeline traveler. But if you were a time traveler, you would have to know exactly, well, in the sci-fi movies, you have to know exactly the year, the time, the day, the location that you want to teleport into. Think of the quantum field as the same way. So the thing to understand here is it's not that you can't manifest multiple things at once, because we are all doing that all of the time, but you can only be in the mode of one particular frequency at one time. And what I mean by that is every goal, everything you desire, every relationship, every state of being, every whatever it is for you, it all contains a particular and very specific energetic frequency that aligns you with that specific timeline. The thing about that timeline is because it's based on that specific frequency, it will come not only with the specific manifestation of that goal, but with the manifestation of many other things as well. So for example, if you decide that you are locking in the specific frequency of manifesting, let's say $100,000 or something like that, if you lock that in and you focus your energy in that direction and into embodying that timeline, when you manifest that $100,000, or again, whatever it is for you, the timeline where you manifest that will naturally be an elevated timeline where you experience a natural elevation of many other different areas of your life. So you may notice that your relationship romantically becomes more harmonious. You may notice that you attract better friendships and relationships. You may notice that you feel healthier and stronger in your physical body. You may notice that you are just in general a more happy and confident person. because that timeline, although you are like dialing in a specific frequency to get to that timeline, once you shift into it, once you make the quantum shift, you will notice changes in other areas of your life as well that will align with that frequency. This is also why you can sometimes dilute your power if you are jumping between multiple different goals, if those goals carry slightly different frequencies. So it actually is a lot easier and more effective to quantum leap by focusing in for now, especially if this is your first time consciously quantum shifting, although many of us quantum shift unconsciously all the time. But if this is your first time consciously manifesting something that feels big to you and feels very specific and locking in that frequency, it may be best to kind of prove the process to yourself first by locking in something specific, focusing singularly on that thing, and then allowing the other areas of your life to naturally align with that frequency in positive ways without necessarily hyper-focusing on multiple different goals at one time, if that makes sense. Because what happens is when you kind of dilute your energy by skipping between different frequencies perpetually, trying to use this process in many different directions at once, what I've found personally and seen in others is that it can slow down manifesting any one of those specific things. Yes, they can all happen eventually, but it's very easy to lose the faith. Whereas if you hyper focus on one desire, goal, outcome, energy you want to embody, you are going to start seeing results very quickly. Now, at first, I guess I should continue by saying there are many ways to lock in the energy of this specific thing. And by the way, just as an aside, because again, I'm doing this off the cuff, so things are occurring to me as we're having this conversation. But part of why I did say to listen to many different subliminals overnight while you're sleeping is because this allows you to kind of unconsciously store, let's say, new programming around many different goals without draining or burning yourself out by consciously hyper-focusing on all of them. So if you listen to a subliminals playlist overnight and it has, let's say, like 10 to 12 different kinds of energies or goals you want to embody, you're kind of implanting all of those into your subconscious in a way, reminding yourself subconsciously, okay, this is everything I'm trying to manifest without needing to consciously keep track of all of it. Because if you're consciously trying to visualize all of those things all day, or you're consciously trying to say affirmations about all of those things all day, you're going to start to get burnt out. Affirmations and visualization are very powerful, but those conscious visualizations and conscious affirmations tend to work best when you are dialing in one specific frequency, and then let the subliminals overnight kind of remind your subconscious and steer you in the direction naturally over time, in the direction of all of those different goals, dreams, and desires, again, without you needing to consciously keep track of them, but kind of keeping them in your energy, if that makes sense. That's personally what I've found works the best for me. But when it comes to your daily waking visualizations and all of that, I recommend, for now, focusing on one thing. Now, the thing that you focus on to start, because of course you can manifest anything you desire, but just to kind of prove the concept to yourself, I would start with something that does not feel absolutely like impossible to you. Yes, you can manifest things that right now feel impossible because nothing really is impossible for you. But I would recommend starting with something that would be extremely exciting and even surprising if it happened for you, that maybe you've experienced some doubt around, that doesn't really feel like it's happening, like a vision that really excites you but doesn't feel completely impossible. Like maybe something where you would tell yourself, well, maybe 10 years from now, if I put in a lot of work or effort, I could manifest this thing. So it doesn't feel impossible. It just feels like it would take a really kind of long time, but it doesn't feel out of the question. That's the kind of goal I want you to focus on. But what you need to understand is using this technique, you're collapsing time. When you quantum shift, that thing in your head that's saying, well, I feel like this could take 10 years, that's you on your current timeline, but it does indicate that your mind feels that this is actually possible, just really improbable. And so that means that this is probably a good goal or outcome to use, but also it's not actually, if you use this technique consistently, it's most likely going to happen much, much, much sooner for you than your mind is telling you that it will, because your mind is still operating at this level and we're shifting to a higher level. Again, we're collapsing timelines here. So the best way I can describe it is you're going to start experiencing basically an exponential growth curve when you collapse timelines like this, where it's like your mind is thinking in a linear fashion, but we're tapping into an energy that's going to allow you to experience growth in a compounding fashion, in an exponential fashion. So I want you to take something that feels like it could take years and years for you, but would be really exciting. And I want you to really lock in on that frequency and maybe even write something down on a piece of paper. For example, you could write down, like, this is what I am manifesting in specificity. You do want to be very specific and very detailed on what it is that you're manifesting. Now, as to whether or not you put a specific timeline on this is up to you. Personally, I've found that to collapse timelines like this, sometimes the best way to do it, in my experience, is to take a goal that feels like it could take like 3, 5, 10 years, but tell yourself, no, I'm going to do it in, let's say, like 6 months or in like a year. Take a timeline that feels, again, not like completely impossible, but like, wow, this would require, I don't know, some kind of shift or some kind of miracle to happen this quickly, something that really excites you. Like if it happened that quickly, that would be really exciting, but not like 3 days or like a month if that doesn't feel possible to you. Again, we're like kind of working here with the edges of your consciousness. You want to make it within the realm of possibility, but outside of the realm of what your mind thinks of as probable, and in the realm of what you would find to be like shocking, surprising, and miraculous, but again, not impossible. I hope this is making sense. There's such a balance here when it comes to selecting your goal, because you don't want it to feel impossible or you'll get discouraged. You do want it to feel possible, but you don't want it to be so possible that it wouldn't be exciting to you. You want this vision to really genuinely excite you. Okay, so once you've selected something that you want to manifest, what you're going to do is lock it in by writing it down somewhere. I really recommend writing it down on a piece of paper. And when you do write down this goal, it's very important to remember, as Napoleon Hill says this in his book, Think and Grow Rich, which, by the way, I love this book. This is one of the first books that I read when I started on my own manifestation journey. So I really recommend it if you haven't read it yet. But what you're going to do is write down a statement that encompasses what you are going to manifest, some kind of time frame that you want to make that shift by. Again, you don't have to include a time frame from my perspective, but sometimes this can create a kind of container for your mind that brings faster results. So, for example, you could say, by this date next year, I am going to have, let's say, whatever it is, like $100,000 or whatever this is for you. It could be anything, a happy, loving relationship, whatever. And then this is very important. What you have to understand is we are working with alchemy here. Alchemy is the process of transmutation. So you can't manifest something out of nothing, meaning you can't just manifest, I'm going to have this money and it's magically going to like apparate. It has to come through some kind of funnel, or something is being transferred or exchanged for it. But it doesn't have to be something that you perceive. In fact, it won't be something you perceive as equal value, because in the process of alchemy, alchemists would take raw materials that were of no value, basically like rocks, and they would convert them into precious metals through the process of alchemy. That's what you're doing here. So yes, you are exchanging something, but to you, it might not seem like something worth what you're getting out of it or what you're going to manifest from it. So, for example, you might say, I am going to manifest, let's say, whatever sum of money through sharing my humor or my music or my wisdom or my thoughts on whatever it is, or this could be anything, through my artwork, through whatever, through like anything that you feel that you have that you want to share with the world or exchange in some way. So there's some kind of exchange that has to take place here. For example, even if you're attracting in a group of friends or something of that nature, I mean, of course, I feel that for most people, this isn't going to be something you're manifesting. So it's kind of a silly example. But if you're manifesting a group of friends or a loving relationship, that might be more so something someone would manifest. You might say, I am going to, in exchange, be a person to that person who is loving, kind, generous, supporting. And in return, I am going to receive this loving relationship from them that is loving, kind, generous, supportive, beautiful, where they do all of these things for me and we have this kind of bond and it's amazing, all of this. So again, you are going to be exchanging. There's going to be an exchange taking place, whether it's for your time, your energy, your effort. Now, something very important is that in this exchange, you want to make what you are giving in return something that it is relatively easy for you to give or to share. It is still going to require like a form of structure and self-discipline to be consistent with whatever it is that you are giving or what you are sharing. But you don't want to set the bar so high for yourself that you burn out. Because again, you are an alchemist here. You are not exchanging gold for gold. You're exchanging rocks for gold. I mean, that's not to say that what you have to give isn't valuable, but you might be thinking to yourself, well, there's hundreds or thousands of other people giving the same thing or doing the same thing. But you have to eliminate competition from the equation because again, this is alchemy. You are taking something that you may not perceive at the level of value that you are going to be receiving from it. And you are offering it kind of in a form of an exchange energetically that is going to quantum shift you into the reality where that thing or whatever it is you are exchanging is valued in a way that brings back your specific results or desired outcome. So it's important to write down in your statement, again, if you really want to be precise about the process, then write a statement of exactly what it is you desire. Again, be very specific as to the amount. If it's, of course, a loving relationship, I wouldn't recommend necessarily being specific about the person in this case, but be specific about all of the qualities, all of the traits, everything that you desire. The same thing with like if you have a dream home or whatever this is for you, just be very specific about what you want it to look like, what you want it to feel like, the amount, all of these things. You want to give yourself something very specific to visualize. You're going to write it down and write in exchange for, and then whatever that thing is, I will, and write down what it is you're going to be exchanging. Again, whether it is you in the terms of manifesting a relationship, showing up as that loving person, whether it's you giving coaching or giving lessons or creating content on a specific platform or whatever this is that you're doing. And so then you are going to say, well, I guess at the beginning of the statement, you could say by this date. So by, let's say, August 17th, 2026, that would be 1 year from now. And I would recommend if you're manifesting something that feels like it would take 3, 5, 10 years logically, just try this process and give yourself a year, because even if you don't reach that specific goal by that year mark, I promise you, if you really follow this technique, you will start seeing massive results. If you are consistent, you will start making real, tangible, huge progress towards that particular goal. You will start really quantum shifting into that reality. So if you set yourself like 12 months for something that usually feels like it would take 10 years, you may be surprised that you make it like halfway or maybe even all the way to that goal. It could happen sooner, it could happen later, but there is something powerful about that time frame that signals to our mind, okay, we're really locking in because 1 year from now, my life is going to be entirely different, if that makes sense. This is kind of a way of collapsing time more quickly. So by this date, I am going to have, or I'm going to manifest, or I'm going to experience, and then write what you're manifesting. In return for this, I am going to, and then write what you're going to give in exchange. And then what you want to do is if you already have some kind of consistent daily action that you can take towards this goal, you're going to include that as well. Now, I know that for some of you listening, you may not have a plan yet, and that is okay. You can do the rest of this technique and then let yourself be inspired to that plan. You can also revise your plan over time. But once a plan comes to you, or if you already have some kind of starting action plan, I would say if there's anything you can think to do consistently every single day, and it's also very important here, by the way, not to burn yourself out with this plan, make it something that you can do every day. So for me, maybe it's making a YouTube video every single day, which by the way, I am now doing. So I would love for you to subscribe if this kind of content inspires and uplifts you. Join our beautiful community here on YouTube. But you're going to want to make this an action that you can take daily, and emphasis on the words can take. So don't make it something that requires so much energy or effort that you're going to burn out or not be able to do it. But you also do want it to be something that requires a little bit of focus or structure or dedication out of you. So it might be, for example, if you're manifesting your dream body, this might be like 30 minutes of exercise a day. Or if you are, creating your dream business, this might be spending 1 hour a day working on your business. And as things grow and evolve, you can change your plan. But the important thing is, once you lock in on a particular goal and a time frame and the general idea of what you're giving in return, like I am going to inspire millions of people and receive this much money per year doing that. Let's say that's your goal statement. You can revise your plan, and in fact should if you feel inspired to different ideas or your plan isn't working, but keep your goal statement the same, because even if you're changing your plan, you're not losing progress. You're still building momentum on that frequency that's amounting to this quantum shift. And one thing, the last thing I want to say in this video is the moment you write this statement down, you've already quantum shifted in a sense. And the action is you keeping yourself aligned with that timeline. Now, I know I did not expect this video to be this long. This is really a part one because there's so much more I want to share. We're really just starting with the basics of quantum shifting from my perspective, or one of the fastest ways to quantum shift to your desired reality. But what you want to do, for those of you who are maybe just here for part one, you want to repeat this statement to yourself out loud in the morning, first thing when you wake up, and at night right before you go to sleep. And for best results, visualize your goal as you're falling asleep, because this uses Neville Goddard's SATS techniques, state akin to sleep, where he recommends getting yourself into a state where you feel deeply relaxed, your consciousness is relaxed, and then visualizing your goal for much more powerful results. So if you can fall asleep at night thinking about this goal, and again, just doing one action every day that you've determined for yourself as part of your plan to move you towards that goal, something you can easily do while keeping up with the rest of your life. And this is really just doing these few steps, which again, doesn't take much time during your day, will effectively quantum shift you over the course of time. But if you really want to supercharge this process, some things I would recommend adding in are 30 minutes of visualizing in the morning, imagining yourself in that desired timeline, imagining what it would feel like, what it would look like, how you would show up in that timeline, how confident and empowered you would be, the things you'd be doing on a daily basis. A 30-minute daily visualization practice would be really, really helpful. And also doing, I would say, between 15 and 30 minutes of spoken affirmations. I like to do my affirmations while I am actually just getting ready for the day or doing other things so that they don't take as much time. But speaking out loud, things like, I am confident, I am successful, I am achieving my goals, saying affirmations that bolster that sense of confidence and faith. And of course, you can add in specific ones that make you really feel the energy of that desired timeline. Doing these things combined would amount to massive shifts in your life and in your reality very, very quickly. So I will leave a little checklist of these things in the description box of this video, just as a recap. This is the basic structure of how to entirely reprogram your subconscious mind, shift your reality. And of course, I can't end this video without re-mentioning the power of subliminals. Wow, if you really, really want to supercharge this process and manifest many different things at once, start listening to subliminals overnight while you're sleeping. Make a playlist of them and let it encompass so many different things that you want to really saturate your energy with, that you want to attract. This overnight mind reprogramming is so powerful because our subconscious is the most open while we're sleeping. So that's when subliminals are most effective. And really, our subconscious encompasses something like 95% of our energy. So doing this routine, reading your statement in the morning, in the evening, staying specific about the goal that you are attracting, what you're giving in exchange, some kind of daily action plan that you can keep up with, that's simple for you to keep up with, adjusting your plan over time, visualizing 30 minutes in the morning, and saying your affirmations for about 15 to 30 minutes a day. That literally is the supercharged quantum shift routine. This will start to shift you so fast. There's so many more videos I could do on this, but I'm telling you, if you use this technique even for a week, and again, make sure you keep that daily action, something you can keep up with, because I know many of us tend to be a little bit type A and perfectionistic, and we can really set the bar so high that we burn out. But if you make it something consistent for you, that is really closing the loop. It's affirming to your subconscious and showing your reality how committed you are to this shift, which again already took place when you locked in that energy, that frequency. So this is really the basics of my personal method for quantum shifting. And I'll leave this video by saying that I personally used this whole technique, including the subliminals, the visualization, the affirmations. I used this technique several years ago when I first started the channel. And I think I had about 30 subscribers or something on the channel. And I used this in my own life. And within 10 months, my entire reality had completely transformed. The channel had really catapulted quite a bit. My business had really catapulted. My confidence had gone through the roof from a place of being extremely low. And I had so many people around me saying, I'm not even adjusted to this new version of you because you seem so different. You seem so much more confident. What changed? And I'm telling you, if you use this technique consistently, you will be shocked at how quickly your reality will start to shift, and you will really remember your own power in a new kind of way. And you deserve that. You owe that to yourself. You owe your dreams to yourself. So if you have something that you've been wanting to manifest for a while in your life, try this technique and just see what happens. Use it consistently. The actual core of the technique, really, if you're just repeating the statement twice a day, visualizing as you're falling asleep, that would hardly take 5 to 10 extra minutes a day of your time. You are going to notice such shifts in your confidence, your mindset, really every area of your life as a result of this. I know I'm kind of on a soapbox here, but I'm so passionate about this. And I've seen so many people transform their lives using techniques like this. There are so many stories out there of celebrities and people who have told stories like this, or where they've used a technique similar to this to manifest their successes in their own lives. So there is so much more that I would love to share. I would love to share more about quantum shifting, about signs that your reality is starting to shift, more principles that you can incorporate in this process. If you do like this video, I know this was a bit different than my usual style. I do a lot of readings, tarot readings, energy updates on this channel, but really when I started this channel, I started with these podcast videos. So I still have so much passion for them. And let me know if you want to see more of this in the future. And if you're feeling really, really confident, of course, you don't have to do this if you're not feeling guided to it, but typing in the comments section what it is you want to manifest or attract into your life using this technique could be really powerful, because you're not only affirming it then to yourself, but to this whole community. You're like signaling to the universe that you are ready for this. So if you do want to share what you are manifesting, what your goal is, then that would be a beautiful way to positively reinforce. And you could even revisit this video months from now or a year from now and reply to your own comment, sharing what happened, sharing updates on how your life has completely shifted as a result of this. I am so excited to hear your success stories and to hear how you're manifesting the life of your dreams months from now or a year from now. But again, as I said at the beginning of this video, it all starts now. Now is the portal where all of your power is. So I am so excited to be a support for you on this journey. I'm excited to be walking this pathway together, to grow together. And if that inspires you, then I would love for you to subscribe. You can also follow my Instagram at Magnetize Yourself. And I now am sharing my music through my artist name, Songs by Infinity. I have 2 channeled songs already available and a 3rd one on the way. So you can stream my music on really any music streaming platform, but the best place to follow my music is Spotify, because that is where you will be the first to know when I release new songs. If you do want to download my Subliminals app to really supercharge this whole process, to listen to Subliminals overnight while you're sleeping, which my app has all of those features, and we're adding new features all the time. So stay tuned for that. But if you would like to utilize that, then the link to download my app is in the pinned comment and description box underneath this video, as well as the name of the subliminal that I most recommend to really shift very quickly and transform your life. Otherwise, I am sending you all huge amounts of love and light energy. Have a beautiful remainder of your day, and I will connect with you here again in the next video.